Hi, this is Sally Morgan, physical therapist, craniosacral therapist, and Tellington T-Touch practitioner for animals and people. This is Tristan. He's a Corgi, and we're here for an episode of Conversations with a Corgi. Well, 2 hours and two Comcast guys later, I'm back online. Apparently, my phone was taking itself out of the connection to the Wi-Fi in my house, and on top of that, my modem had like a big crack in it, and it was rattling, so something in there wasn't right. So we've got that fixed, so hopefully we won't lose connection during this Conversations with a Corgi. So as I mentioned yesterday, if you saw some of my test broadcasts while the Comcast guys were here, I have been really interested in an article I saw lately about animals responding to us when we are in need, when we are sick, when we are sad, when we are happy, when we are angry, how our animals respond to us. Because what's happened in the evolution of dogs from wolves, and certainly, they were not inexpert at this ability when they were wolves, because wolves have a very complex social structure. People think it's just easy peasy. There's an alpha wolf and everybody listens to him. That is not true. Lots of research now has said that is not true. And the original guy who did that research said it's not true. He was looking at a mixed pack of wolves that had been brought together on Grand Isle in Michigan. And they were still working out their dynamics while he was studying them, and it didn't even occur to him that they were from different packs. So all of his initial research on wolf behavior was based on these packs trying to integrate because they were trapped in this area together. Parts of packs, couple here, couple there. So anyway, even so, wolves have very complex facial expressions, a complex way of interacting. All canids do, and dogs are no exception. Our dogs are expert at reading our facial expressions and our moods. And some people say that, steady connection, about time, right? And some people say that, some of the dog's ability to read our moods is from smell. Now, that may be true to a certain extent. Certainly when you're stressed, you emit, different smells than you do when you're not stressed. And certainly, I can smell a person when they're stressed, and I'm sure any dog can smell a lot better than I can. So that's one thing that our dogs do. But, we see our dogs responding to people who have seizures, who have diabetes, who have anxiety. And is that just from the smell, or some of that's got to be from our body posture, the tension in our bodies, our heart rate, our facial expressions, even our rate of breathing? And dogs are expert at reading this. Now, part of that has been evolved over time because we are their pack. They have had to learn to interact with us, and they are far better than most people at sensing our moods and our feelings and our needs. And so many people say that when they have a headache, or they don't feel well, or they're taking a sick day, or they've got the flu, that their dogs will be a little more clingy, a little less wanting to go out. I know certainly when I've had some really bad migraines, Tristan runs to the end of the steps, pees on the steps, and runs right back in. He does not want to leave me when I'm that sick. And he stays in the same room I'm in. And many people that I've worked with over the years who have fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue and chronic pain in their back or their shoulder or something have told me how their dog or their cat even will lay close to their body part that's injured and comfort them. I'll never forget this one client I had, really complex back problem, kind of a bigger lady because she couldn't exercise, younger also, like in her 40s. And she had this little toy poodle who probably only weighed 10, 12 pounds, a little dog. But that dog would curl up right in the part of her back where she had had multiple surgeries and injuries, and the heat of the dog would give the lady some relief. How did that dog know to do that? She didn't train the dog. The dog can tell. And so that's one of the miracles, that dogs choose to live with us because we really need them. And I don't know, they need us to provide food, but I think a lot of dogs are pretty good at doing that. Certainly my friend's husky could catch and eat a squirrel in about 4 minutes if she let her loose in the park long enough. And, a husky may be a far cry from a chihuahua or a toy poodle, but still, I think that dogs have really evolved to be very attentive to our needs and our moods. And, people say when the dog comes up to a stranger, oh, he can tell I'm a dog person, or he can tell I'm a good person. But part of that is that they can see a level of relaxation that person has with dogs in general and with you as a person. And so the greater comfort you have with that person, the greater your dog is going to like that person. And gosh, I've had a few people come to my house over the years who have said, oh, I'm really a dog person and my dogs don't want anything to do with that person. And I'm like, this person's got some issues. I got to be cautious with this one. So I've asked people to share underneath this page or on the post that I had a couple of days ago, any stories they have of their dogs helping them when they've been sick or sad. Certainly any of us who have lost a pet, the dogs that are left with us grieve the same as we do. And I have observed this many times with my new Corgi, just really being depressed and sad and sort of lackluster when the original Corgi has crossed the Rainbow Bridge. And I mean, we comfort each other. We stay close to each other. We take slower walks. The pace of our life is just disrupted. And Tristan used to go sit by Comet's bed because I kept it in the kitchen for maybe a week after Comet crossed. And, I would hear this dog barking in the middle of the night. Well, not in the middle of the night, at like 7 when Comet died. And Tristan would hear it too. And he'd run over to Comet's bed. It was very supernatural. And I have so many stories of things like this happening to people that I'm sure it's real. I mean, my dog responded too. So our dogs really do provide a lot of comfort for us when we are not feeling tip-top. And certainly when I'm going to a Corgi picnic, I get up in the morning and I'm like, we got a Corgi picnic today. And Tristan gets excited and I get excited and I have a lot of running around to do. And he's, sometimes when that happens, he goes into his room where he watches the world from the back of a sofa and doesn't want to be around me when I'm hurrying like that. But when it's the Corgi picnic day, he's trotting around and he's very excited to be with me because he knows we're going someplace really fun for him too. Your kids always let you know when someone's not good. Boy, that's the truth. So, our dogs have an incredible ability to read us. Part of that is, what brain waves we are in a resting state. Theta waves are waves of relaxation. People say, and I don't know that this has been proven definitively, that animals are more in a theta wave state most of the time. I can believe that with horses, but I'm not so sure with dogs because they live in our houses with us and they are, as I've mentioned, much more clued in to our tones and moods. And certainly puppies want to play. I don't think you're in a theta wave state when you're wanting to play and run around like a puppy. So, but that's one of the things dogs pick up on. And certainly from my work with people with seizures, especially a lot of kids with seizures, there's a level of tension in the body and stress that precedes that seizure. And one of the things I've seen my dogs do with kids that might be having a seizure is climb on them and take deep breaths. You know how dogs do that when they settle down? I've seen them do that and stop seizures from occurring in kids. And I don't know if all seizure dogs work that way. Certainly that's one of the ways my dogs work. I've seen golden retrievers that know somebody and ask them to get to the floor or sit down. But certainly a lot of health problems can be triggered by increased stress. And dogs are super sensitive to noticing increased stress, which is why we have them, like around here now, therapy dogs are in the airport several days a week, helping people that are nervous about their flight, or maybe they're going to attend to someone who's not in great health, or maybe they're going to a funeral, or maybe they're a kid nervously going off to college, or whatever. People have a lot of stress in airports, so having a dog there is a good thing because the dogs help calm us, and they are so good at what we talk about in T-Touch is meeting you where you're at. So we meet the dog where he's at. If they're playful and wiggly like a puppy, we get playful and wiggly with them and then gradually bring our emotions down and ask the dog to come to where we are. So dogs do that too in the airport if somebody's really stressed and nervously tapping their foot and worried they'll miss their flight or whatever. These comfort dogs that they have in the airports, therapy dogs, help people relax. And the stories that I've heard when I travel with my dogs on the plane are just remarkable. I mean, Comet used to have a way of choosing somebody on the plane with me that he was particularly interested in. And frequently it was somebody in emotional stress, somebody who had recently lost a dog, or someone who had gotten a divorce and they didn't get to see their dog anymore. I mean, there was always these amazing stories. And I'm like, how did he pick that person out of the 500 on this plane? So, and dogs go into colleges now, and students are having exams to help keep them calm and relaxed. So, you know, dogs are doing a huge service by being in our lives. And certainly their great ability to read our moods is one of the great gifts that they give us. Right, Tristan? What do you think? Are you glad the internet's working again on the phone? So thanks for joining us today for this episode of Conversations with a Corgi. I will try to be back tomorrow. I might be a little late tomorrow. I know I was a little early today. So, and then next week I'm at my educator job. What is it? Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we'll try to do one of these on Tuesday as well. So everybody have a great day. Enjoy the weather because it's going to get worse. Apparently we've got rain and stuff coming in. We're going to take a long walk again, aren't we? Maybe with our friend Coco. Our neighbor dog is moving in 3 weeks. She's not going very far away, but our daily visits to our little pal are not going to happen anymore. It's sad for Tristan. Right, Biss? But the new person's got a Labradoodle. Maybe Tristan will like that dog too. Have a great day, everybody.